yourself struggling to speak up for yourself as a leader, this situation is extremely common. And in this video, I'm going to share with you a strategy. Now, there's multiple strategies to help you learn how to start speaking up for yourself. But today, we're going to start off with one that will help you be able to overcome this challenge. Now, you may be wondering, well, why? Why is this a problem? Believe it or not, many leaders suffer from this. Sometimes imposter syndrome can factor into why people do not want to speak up for themselves. There's so many things, and we're going to talk about that today. So you absolutely want to watch this video until the very end. If you are new to me, welcome. I'm glad that you are here to me. And if you are a subscriber, welcome, welcome. If you're someone that is watching and hasn't subscribed yet, I'm glad you're here today. We are going to talk about a very important topic, and before I get into it, this is a live video. Therefore, on what happens a lot of times on YouTube is that there is a portion in the video, or a point of time in the video rather, where the audience will join the conversation. If you're watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, friend. And when everybody starts to join, let me say hello to everyone, and then I'll get right into how you can start speaking up for yourself as a leader. We're going to talk about why this is an issue. I'm going to share with you some insights from my live that I shared this morning that will help to supplement what I'm going to share with you today in terms of how to speak up for yourself as a leader. And I'm going to give you the one strategy that I personally use and have given to my clients when they are in a situation where they are struggling with learning how to speak up for themselves as leaders. Now, my channel focuses on heavily advanced communication strategies. And if you clicked on this video, you're supposed to be here. The videos that I have on my channel, they do have a specific type of title to them, and it's catered toward those individuals that are really trying to accelerate their growth as leaders. In my executive coaching practice, I work with women in leadership, and in my consultant practice as well. However, on my YouTube channel and on many of the platforms that I have accounts on, many of my audience members are not in that specific group. They may be men in leadership, they may be women that are not leaders yet, and etc. The information I'm going to share with you is very universal, and it is going to absolutely help you go to that next level in terms of how you're communicating as a leader. So I want to say welcome, welcome. Hope you all are doing fantastically well today. If you're ready to learn how to start speaking up for yourself as a leader, this, my friends, is the place for you to be today. Ask me any questions. We're going to go into some strategies today to help you be able to do that. I want to say hello to Then Is My Best Friend. Welcome, welcome, friend. How you doing today? Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from today. And if you've ever struggled with speaking up for yourself. If you have, this is the place to ask questions. Let's talk about it. Let's give you some strategies today to help you overcome this challenge. Specifically, if you are a woman in leadership in my direct target audience that I provide executive coaching and consulting services to, or maybe you happen to be a man in leadership or a woman that's not a leader yet, that is not in my audience, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we can help you today. Now, I want to start this off by saying that I recorded a live video this morning where we talked a bit more about how to speak up for yourself as a leader. I'm going to give you a couple of insights from that video because they actually supplement what I'm going to share with you today. But I want to know from you, have you ever struggled with speaking up for yourself as a leader? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you've ever had this as a challenge. Have you ever experienced this as a leader? And let's talk about it. All right, we have Maya Ahalini -S7J. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Let me know where you all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today. Let's talk about it. Now, many times, as I mentioned this morning, this is a recap, and then I'll go into the strategy today. And before I do that, Salsa Banimations. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from today. Let me know. And let me know if you ever struggled with speaking up for yourself as a leader. Now, many times people struggle with speaking up for themselves as leaders. There's a lot of things that factor. So imposter syndrome can factor into that. Things that's happened in the past can factor into that. There's a lot of things that come into it. Now, specifically, most of the times that I've seen from a lot of my clients, and I've been in the management world, the C-suite world, the director world for over 20 years, People are afraid. They are afraid of the unknown. They're afraid that if they say something, they don't know what happens afterwards. And that fear itself is a huge determinant in terms of why someone may not want to speak up for themselves. Now, before I go into the other strategy, let me see what's going on in the chat. Salsa Manimation says, I'm doing good. Well, I'm glad you're doing well, friend. And I like your Christmas emoji for your picture. Very festive for the season this year. We are in the second day of December here in 2025. So like that festivity there, friend. Now, I mentioned to you that oftentimes what happens is people have a fear of the unknown. That's why they don't want to speak up for themselves, because they are just afraid of what's going to happen afterwards. What's going to happen afterwards? So let's talk about how we can get over this. How can we get over this challenge? Because I know many people are struggling with this. Even if you're watching live and you're watching in the replay, let me know if you ever struggled with this before. So we talked about there's a fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen if you speak up for yourself. Now, the second thing I want to mention to you is an executive coaching question that I asked the audience earlier today. You want to get a pen and paper and write this down. So the next time you feel like you just don't want to say anything as a leader, hopefully this will help you to think about it a little bit differently. My question to you is this: what will it cost you if you say nothing? There's a cost. There is some form of a cost that's going to happen. And oftentimes that cost is a lot greater than what we are willing to pay. So let me give you an example. If you don't speak up for yourself, you may miss out on the opportunity to advance your career. If you don't speak up for yourself, you may not be able to negotiate the salary that you're looking for. If you don't speak up for yourself, you may not be able to handle that difficult situation. If you don't speak up for yourself, you may not be able to be positioned as the leader that people trust. If you don't speak up for yourself, you may not be able to build a very tight-knit group or team around you to help you be able to accomplish the vision that you're trying to do for your organization, for your business, for your country, for your state, and etc. Speaking up for yourself is critically important. And that is what we talked about this morning. Now we're going to go into specifically what we can do to add to what I've already shared with you. So those of you who joined, welcome, welcome. We're talking about how to speak up for yourself. If you struggle with it, let me know in the comments below. So I've given you two things to think about, two insights to think about so far. One is that there's a fear of the unknown. Two, what is it going to cost you if you do not say anything? It's going to cost you something. It is going to cost you something, but what is it? And is that cost something you are willing to pay? Majority of the time, when people don't speak up, the cost is not something they're willing to pay, and they end up struggling with it, and they wish that they would have said something. Now let's go into what I want you to do to help you, or what I have found to be very helpful, to be more strategic in terms of speaking up for yourself and what you can do to speak up for yourself a bit more. Now, there's a strategy that I personally have used. I share it with my clients, and if you're really struggling with how to say things, then contact me. There's an executive strategy session, or a strategy session, I'd rather, in the description below. Let's have a conversation. If you're a woman in leadership, let's talk about it. But there's a lot of great resources I'll talk to you about a little bit later in the live that can help you if you're struggling with how to say things. Now, today, what I want to focus in on is specifically this next part of thinking about speaking up for yourself. Many people are afraid, and let me know in the comments below, for those of you who are watching, have you ever struggled with speaking up for yourself? Have you? I have. I personally have, many years ago. And so if you've ever struggled with this, let me know in the comments below what happened, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we can help you. Or maybe if you are watching this video, share it with a friend. If you know there's a friend of yours that has a hard time speaking up for themselves, then just share this video with them. And of course, give it a thumbs up if you like the content so far. Now, what I would recommend for you to do is think about speaking up for yourself. So we have the cost. What is it going to cost you if you say nothing? What is the cost? Is it worth it, or is it not worth it? I don't know. You can only answer that question. The second part of that I'm sharing with you today, and there's many other aspects of this, but I just want to at least touch on two parts today. But this specifically is going to really help you to think about this process. The first thing you want to consider when you're deciding, Okay, I've decided that the cost of me saying nothing is not worth it. It's not worth it at all. This is something I have to say, something I have to speak up for myself. Let's think about scenarios. Now, once you've decided that you want to speak up for yourself, let's think of the best thing that can happen if you speak up for yourself. What's the expected thing that can happen if you speak up for yourself? And what is the worst case scenario that can happen if you speak up for yourself? And what's something that can completely just be a blindside to you? I have found that if you take some time to really think through those situations, it gives you more confidence and it gives you a game plan so that you know if I need to speak up for myself, I have a couple scenarios in my mind that I can lean on depending on the conversation. So for instance, let's say you're trying to ask for a salary increase. You will see a lot of videos on my channel over the next week or two that specifically are talking about salary negotiations. Feel free to check out the video that is a related video to it to help you do better and how public speaking can help you actually speak better and do well in your salary negotiations, but that's another topic. But let's say, for instance, you're trying to negotiate your salary and you are struggling with this and you have decided that if you don't say anything about your salary, then you are losing out on money. You're losing out on money. You don't want to do that. What would be the best case scenario if you speak up for yourself? Let's know. Let me know in the chat. Well, let me know in the chat. If you're watching the replay or watching live, what's the best case scenario that will happen if you speak up for yourself as it relates to your salary? Best case scenario would be you'll probably get a raise. You'll probably get an increase in your salary. And that is the best case scenario. So you already have that one in your mind played out. Fantastic. That's great. What's the expected scenario that may come up? This is something that will be very specific to you and your organization or the business you're running or whatever the case may be. What is the expected scenario? The expected scenario is there may be a delay. We can't increase your salary at the moment. We have to wait till the end of the year or the beginning of the year. The expected scenario could potentially be there's a delay. They're not saying no, but there may be a delay in terms of time frame. Now, you have to determine if they say there's a delay, and let's say you're working really hard in your role as a senior leader, and you believe that this delay is, in terms of time frame, is not what you're looking for, then that may be a cue for you to look for another opportunity, but that's another conversation for an entirely another day. That's the expected scenario. We're expecting probably some delays. Excuse me. The third scenario, which would be the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is that they say no. Worst case scenario is that they say no to your salary that you're looking for. Now, what's the scenario that would be a blind side for you? Can you think of one? What if you went into a salary negotiation and you have your best case, your expected case, your worst case scenario? What's the one that would completely just blindside you? Well, as I mentioned, this is only a scenario for salary negotiations. When you are at the point where you need to speak up for yourself, you have to empower yourself. And the best way to do it is to be strategic in terms of how you are thinking and how you are communicating specifically, which is hopefully why you are subscribed to this channel, hopefully. Now, what's the blind side? What would completely say, whoa, I wasn't expecting that at all. Let's say they mention, okay, well, you asked for a salary increase. We have decided that we are not going to move forward with this project, meaning that you may not be in a situation where we can have you continue working for us. That would be a complete blindside. I believe anybody would say they would not be expecting that. However, when you are trying to speak up for yourself and you are feeling nervous about speaking up for yourself, you have to have these scenarios in your mind so you know how to address them when that time comes. Many people, when they are at a point where they need to speak up for themselves, they are at a point where they have probably waited a bit too long to speak up for themselves. Therefore, when they want to speak up for themselves, it feels very, very, very overwhelming. And it's something that their mind just does not want to process because there's too many layers that are going into why they want to speak up for themselves, what they want to say, how they want to say it, what's going to happen, then they just completely shut down. But if you are are following my content here, I'm very strategic in terms of how I process information. That comes from me being a C-suite for many, many years. But I'm very strategic in terms of how I process information. Therefore, that strategy that I use to process information is the same strategy that I use to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers. When you have those discussions, you hopefully will have a better outcome depending on how you communicate it. If you want some support with that, I have a lot of resources to help you here, friends. Just let me know what you want to learn more about. But having those scenarios in mind when you want to speak up for yourself doesn't mean that the worst case scenario is going to happen. It doesn't mean that the blind side that you're completely not expecting to happen will occur. It means that you are thinking ahead. You would much rather, as a leader, as a woman in leadership, as a man in leadership, be in a situation where you are at least a step or two ahead than being the person that's caught off guard. And then you have to start working through my videos, watching my live channels here. You need to look at the videos where you're caught off guard. One, you need to look at thinking on your feet. You need to look at how you need to manage your emotions under pressure. You need to look at how to manage difficult conversations. You need to look at how to change your tone of voice. All of that goes into play when you are caught off guard. I don't want you to be caught off guard, especially when you are speaking up for yourself. So take a few moments and think about specifically those scenarios that I mentioned to you that will help you not to feel so worried about speaking up for yourself, because ultimately you are a leader and you are in a leadership role. And whether you are dealing with imposter syndrome, maybe you had a problem with the project, you have to be able to advocate for yourself. Oftentimes other people may not do it. Even in the leadership world, other leaders may not advocate for you. Therefore, you have to advocate for yourself. If you take some time and really think through, if I say this, what are the scenarios that could potentially happen? Then you have a plan A, B, C, and D. You have 4 plans in your mind that you're thinking of. Now, having a good insight in terms of your organization or the person you're speaking with is very helpful here, because you will start to develop an idea or a sense of how they process information and what likely will be the expected outcome that we have talked about today. Now, I want to know from you, which of these strategies was your favorite strategy? Which one did you like the most? I mentioned to you as a recap for those of you who have joined, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here today. We talked about how to help you learn how to speak for yourself. Now, these are just a few strategies to get you started. If you want to go into a lot more detail, you absolutely want to contact me for a strategy session in the description below. If you're a woman in leadership, you're welcome to take a look at my website at www.exciteexcellence.org to look at the products and services page. There is a very big discount going on right now for Black Friday until December the 7th. So you definitely want to check out that information. But nonetheless, if you're struggling with how to speak up for yourself, keep these concepts, initial concepts. There's a lot more that goes into it, but keep these initial concepts in mind. One, what is it going to cost you to say nothing? And if you've decided that it is too much of a cost, you don't want to pay that cost to not say anything, then you need to consider what are the expected, the best case scenario, the worst case scenario, and the blindsided, completely out the blue scenario that could happen when you say what you want to say for yourself. Now, you may be thinking, well, why do I have to do all this? Why do I have to think so deeply? Why can't I just say what I want to say? Well, you can. You can do whatever it is you want to do. However, when you are elevating yourself as a leader, there is a strategy that you develop when you are communicating with other people, even if it is in a very simple conversation you're having. Maybe it is a big conversation, but this is the point in your career, woman in leadership. This is a point in your career where you have to be very strategic in terms of how you communicate. How you communicate will either help you, hurt you, or just slow you down in terms of your growth. Even if you are a business owner, even if you are an individual that works for another organization, maybe you are running for a political office, being very strategic in terms of what you say, how you say it, and thinking through the process before it even happens is a great way to help you learn how to speak up for yourself whenever a challenge takes place specifically for you. Now, let me know how I can support you all. As I mentioned earlier, I'm really here to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers. Therefore, if you look at any of my live videos, that's where most of my videos are at the moment. There will be some recorded videos on my channel, but if you take some time and look through the live videos and there's a topic that you want to learn more about, put it in the comments below. I will happily do a video just for you on this specific topic to help you on your journey. As I mentioned, I have a Black Friday promotion that's going on right now where several of the services are at a special rate. There are master classes that are 50% off. There's an Ace Your Next Interview masterclass, a salary negotiation masterclass, an executive communication masterclass that are all at 50% off. This is something that is a huge benefit to many of you, because I know you are elevated professionals and leaders, and oftentimes we just need someone to show us what to do, especially when we encounter those very challenging situations. So check out my website, exciteexcellence.org, under products and services. It is only going to be going on until December the 7th, which is only a few days away, and then the prices will go back up to what they normally are. Now, I'm here to support you. Let me know what else you want to learn more about. I appreciate you all so much. As you know, I mentioned to you before, you're going to start seeing a lot more activity on my YouTube channel. You'll see a lot more shorts. I mentioned that previously. I have changed the logo of my business, so you're going to see that also before the end of the year. And you will likely see a podcast. I'm working on that to launch one by the end of the year. We'll see if it happens. If not, it'll be early 2026 when that occurs. But I'm looking forward to support you all. I appreciate you all so much for watching the video. If you're subscribed to my channel, I'm always just excited to have you. There's many of you that are always consistent viewers, and I appreciate your support and being here and just being a part of our growing audience. We have over 500 subscribers now. We're at 550 last time I checked, and that's a huge milestone, contributed and attributed to many of you for sharing the word and engaging and subscribing. Let me know what challenges you all are facing right now as it relates to leadership and those very big communication challenges that we face every single day. I am truly here to help you. My mission on this earth is to help you. And I say this all the time in my videos. People become great by how they communicate. And my mission here on this earth is to unlock the greatness within you. And I do that by sharing with you over 20 years worth of experience that I have as a C-suite executive, as a director, as a manager, and a public speaker, and an executive coach and consultant to help you do that. I've been in those very friendly situations and very contentious situations. I've interacted and had conversations with various congressional members. I've been on the news, and I've been in those very unique situations that will help you stand out from everybody else when you are presenting yourself as a leader of your organization, a leader of your business, a leader of your community. I'm here really to support you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the next video. If you're new here, I typically go live Tuesday through Friday in the morning, in the evening, around about this time period. And you'll see a lot more shorts coming up. So I'll see you all in the next video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye for now.